Have you ever looked around and realized you own valuable things but still feel broke at the end of the month? That is the reality of being asset-rich but cash-poor. A financial trap many people don't notice until it starts hurting their lifestyle. Being asset-rich but cash-poor happens when someone owns high-value assets, like real estate, vehicles, or investments, yet struggles to keep enough cash for daily needs. It's more common than most think, often caused by old financial choices or unexpected drops in income. The key is recognizing it before it quietly limits your financial freedom. The concept may sound confusing at first, but it's crucial to understand, especially today. With higher living costs, stagnant salaries, and rising debts, more people find themselves in this situation. Managing this balance between assets and liquidity is what separates financial comfort from constant stress. It's a frustrating spot to be in. You may have wealth on paper, but if your assets aren't generating income, even paying monthly bills can become stressful. This issue isn't limited to one class. Professionals, entrepreneurs, and retirees can all face it at some point. Let's take Sarah's story as an example. She owns 2 apartments and a luxury car, yet struggles to afford basic groceries some months. Her tenants pay late, her car isn't an income source, and her emergency savings are gone. Sarah isn't poor. Her money is just trapped in her assets. One major challenge is liquidity. Not having cash ready when emergencies strike. You can't sell your house overnight or quickly withdraw funds from long-term investments. This often leads to stress, late payments, and financial anxiety even when net worth looks impressive on paper. Consider Ahmed, who inherited farmland worth thousands. On paper, he's wealthy. But when his child needed surgery, he couldn't access cash fast enough to cover expenses. His story shows how being asset-rich but cash-poor can become a painful financial reality. When bills pile up, people in this situation often rely on credit cards or loans. This creates a dangerous cycle: more debt, higher interest, and even less liquidity. That's how many financially stable-looking individuals quietly sink into money trouble. For homeowners, the situation feels even tougher. If most of your wealth is tied up in your property and it is not selling or renting well, you might face serious short-term struggles. A house that looks like success from the outside can hide a mountain of financial stress inside. Take John, for instance. He owns a $600,000 home but lives paycheck to paycheck. Between mortgage, taxes, and repairs, he can't save or invest. His house looks like wealth, but it's actually draining his cash flow. A classic case of being asset-rich but cash-poor. Another factor is investments locked in illiquid options like real estate funds or long-term shares. They might look great in the long run, but offer no help when you need money now. Balancing between stable growth and quick access to cash is key. Furthermore, this lack of liquidity limits your ability to grab new opportunities. You might spot a great business idea or a discounted property, but can't invest because your money is stuck elsewhere. Flexibility is what keeps your financial life healthy. Take Maria's case. She runs a small business and owns 3 valuable properties. When a supplier offered her a great expansion deal, she had to decline. Her assets couldn't convert to cash in time. That missed opportunity still frustrates her today. To avoid this trap, a balanced financial plan is crucial. That means diversifying income streams, maintaining an emergency fund, and not relying too heavily on non-liquid assets. Smart investors always ensure they have both stability and flexibility. As one financial expert said, wealth isn't about what you own. It's about what you can use. Having high-value assets feels good, but without liquidity, you can't live comfortably or handle financial shocks. Balance is everything. Understanding how your money flows, your income, expenses, and asset value is the first step toward fixing the issue. Once you see where your wealth is stuck, you can start freeing up cash through smarter decisions like refinancing or renting unused assets. Now meet Olivia, a retired teacher who owns a beautiful countryside home. She struggles every month to cover her utility bills because most of her savings are locked in her property. Her story shows how lack of planning can turn comfort into constraint, even after years of hard work. Then there's David, a successful architect who invested heavily in commercial buildings. When clients delayed payments during an economic slowdown, he had to sell his car just to cover his team's salaries. His assets looked great on paper, but his liquidity told another story. Or take Emma, who runs an online store. She invested everything in inventory to grow faster, but when sales slowed down, she couldn't pay her suppliers. Her experience is a reminder that even business owners can fall into the asset-rich, cash-poor trap without careful planning. Finally, think about Mark, a young investor who diversified too aggressively into real estate. His properties gained value, but he couldn't afford to take a vacation or handle emergencies. His journey taught him that wealth isn't about owning, it's about managing wisely. In the end, being asset-rich but cash-poor is a silent problem that requires awareness and planning. When you balance your assets with liquidity, you gain both stability and peace of mind. Real wealth isn't about owning everything. It's about being free to use what you own. If you've been through something similar, share your experience in the comments. And check out my other videos on personal finance for practical ways to improve your money flow and achieve financial balance.